The buzzer has not sounded yet. However, Johnny Furphy's into the game, so I'm assuming Rick Carlisle is punting. Unless something crazy happens, the Thunder have just stolen Game 5. Not even stolen. They kind of dominated it, really. That's right. The Indiana Pacers are trailing in a series for the first time in these playoffs. Now we get to really test if your guys' theory is right on if they're frontrunners or not. I don't ever say stuff like that, but some of the internet does. Let's see how they bounce back. Let's talk about the game, though. The first half, the Pacers, especially in the first quarter, were playing in crowds and turning the ball over way too much. I think they had 15 at halftime. It was way too many turnovers. The pressure by Oklahoma City was very clearly getting to them. They were sending, every time Halliburton called up for a screen, he was getting blitzed and doubled, essentially. And the Pacers weren't getting any type of offense early in the shot clock. Once again, this was the story of last game as well, I believe. Yeah. They weren't getting any offense inside the three-point line or even near the three-point line for at least, 8 seconds left in the shot clock, and now they're getting a touch around the free throw line. That's not inexcusable because it happens against a great defensive team like Oklahoma City. But if you really want to win the series, it can't happen against Oklahoma City. But props to OKC. Some of their role players definitely came alive. Cason Wallace is alive. I questioned if he was going to play much today, if he was going to play much down the line in this series, because he looked young and green and pretty bad in this series, all things considered. But he had a couple of threes tonight, especially in the first half. I think he had 2 or 3. He had a couple of steals as well. He had a nice run-out dunk in, I believe, the third or fourth quarter. Either way, Cason Wallace definitely played a very good game, and that's a part of the tale of the tape with OKC. When they're at their best, it's a bench scorer coming along with them. And today it was Cason Wallace and Aaron Wiggins. Cason Wallace ended the game with 4 steals, I believe. Again, one of those led to a run-out dunk, essentially free 2 points for him. Cason Wallace played his best game of the finals tonight, by far. It's also because the bar was relatively low. But Cason Wallace looked his absolute best tonight. I believe he had 2 first-quarter threes. And once the role players are hitting the threes, the Carusos, I don't even know if he hit one tonight. Dort hit a big one. Cason Wallace, and then, of course, it's to the 2 W's. Cason Wallace and Aaron Wiggins coming off that bench. But there is another W, JW, more specifically, who, again, we will talk about as well. He was so good tonight. JDub, Jalen Williams, man, what can you say? He played his best game of his career tonight. Maybe he's had bigger scoring performances. I don't really care. It's Game 6 of the finals. This was the biggest game of his career, no doubt, and this was the best game of his career, in my opinion, no doubt. I saw zero indecisiveness from Jalen Williams tonight. It was catch, and I'm going right to the basket. He hit 2 mid-range shots tonight, I believe. 2. He hit one where he tried to draw a foul, swiped up, didn't get the call, and banked it in. Okay, not going to say that's lucky because obviously he's an NBA player. He can make that shot. But he was looking for a foul. He was trying to draw contact. He did, just didn't get the call, but he still made it. However, the other one was later in the game. He hit a fadeaway. But again, it was late in the game, like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. How did he get that look? He was putting so much pressure on the rim. Putting pressure on the rim was the name of the game for OKC tonight. I didn't notice Miles Turner. He's a really good rim protector. He's been a really good rim protector for about a decade now. I didn't notice him really at all today. I don't want to be, I don't want to be too critical of essentially a role player, but Miles Turner was kind of a no-show again tonight. Late in the game, it even forced them to sit Miles Turner and go with Pascal at the 5, with Obi at the 4. They tried a weird lineup to end the game. It was like Halliburton, McConnell, Nesmith, Toppin, and Siakam. It was cool because TJ McConnell was really good. That's another guy we'll talk about. But it was just an interesting look. They sat Pascal for a lot, or Miles Turner. They sat Miles Turner for a lot of it. They went with Tony Bradley early in the fourth as well. Tony Bradley he played today. I don't think he was really bad. What was his plus-minus at? He wasn't that bad today. He was a +2, old Tony Bradley. Nice 4 points, 4 boards, 2 offensive. I mean, hey, Tony Bradley played good for what your expectations for what Tony Bradley should be. He had a pretty good game. At halftime, you saw Stephen A&M, Perk specifically, absolutely destroy Tyrese Halliburton. Semi-rightfully so. He's playing with that calf injury, but at the same time, he didn't look aggressive at all. Like, he had 5 shots at the end of the first half, I believe. He wasn't aggressive at all, really. And that I know he got hurt early in the game. He fell to the floor and hurt his calf again. But He just wasn't really there. Third quarter, he had a couple of nice assists. I believe he had like 4 assists in the third quarter alone. He had a nice alley-oop to Toppin as well in the fourth. Great passing. That's what you're going to get out of Halliburton. But when the Pacers are at their best, it's when Halliburton can put the ball in the basket. I don't think he had a field goal make tonight. It was 2 free throws. His first 2 points of the game. Halliburton's first points of the game were with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. I had a note of that. And it was on free throws. He just wasn't very there offensively today. He had a couple of nice passes, like I said, but realistically, the only reason the Pacers were in this goddamn game to begin with, TJ McConnell. He scored 13 in the third quarter, I believe. It might have been 15. In the teens, low teens for TJ McConnell in just the third quarter. And how did he do it? Paint touches. It's TJ McConnell. He hit a 3 and he hit a long 2 as well. Watch out for that TJ McConnell jump shot. That famous TJ McConnell jump shot, yeah. Now, his famous play, to be honest with you, is getting 2 feet in the paint and then going to that fadeaway. He had one that he hit over 3 defenders for an and one. I can't lie. I was getting hyped for TJ McConnell buckets because when he's getting buckets, he's talking trash, and he's so weird with how he gets his points. You know, getting to the paint, and then, like, there's 2 7-footers there, and he's still getting a layup off with his left hand. TJ McConnell is so fun to watch when he's on, but he was really the only guy. Obi Toppin was good in the third, but he was really one of the only people that kept them in this game. It was McConnell, it was Siakam, Toppin, kinda, but it really wasn't a lot of guys along for the ride. Aaron Nesmith had his highlight of the day. He had a nice 3 in the fourth quarter, but they also had that sick poster. I'm not going to lie. He climbed Mount Everest, put back dunk over Chet. I mean, he climbed Mount Everest, Kilimanjaro type stuff. He got over him. Oh my God, his head was at the rim. But even with TJ McConnell getting hot and some of the bench guys like Obi Toppin, I saw Shea and JDub try to mitigate it. And again, this was something I said after game 1, I think it was, where it was even when Indiana was starting to really climb back into the game, they can stop it by making their free throws. And Shea was getting to the line pretty much at will. Not at will. How many free throw attempts do you have? Like 8, I'd have to say. In terms of attempts, he had 14. More than I thought. I can't lie to you. But he was really good at getting to the line. And when you can get to the line, you can definitely help mitigate a run. You get back, set your defense, blah, blah, blah. This is basic basketball stuff. Earlier in the game, also, I saw Isaiah Hartenstein. He had some good assists. He had like 4 at the end of the first half. He finished with 4. Okay, well, it's because Shea had the good. Shea was playing really well, of course. But like I said, when the role players are hitting their shots, this OKC team starts to roll. I don't know why I just said it like that. This OKC team starts to roll. I have to give a shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mentioned JDub because JDub played, again, his best game I've ever watched tonight. He made 2 mid-ranges. I mentioned this entire series. He struggled with jump shooting. I believe he made 3 threes and 2 mid-ranges. That is 5 out of his 14 field goals made were on jump shots. And again, if they aren't going, you have to figure out another way to get it going. How do you do that? Again, you get to the line, you get to the basket, you put guys in foul trouble. JDub was fantastic today at just getting downhill. But the reason I have to shout out Shea is because you're expecting, all right, I'm going to paraphrase this by saying I saw this on Twitter, which if you want NBA discourse, I mean, going on Twitter is like banging your head on a wall until you hear voices. But I saw a lot of people calling out Shea's one-on-one defense the other day, and then today, of course, I think he had 3 steals, 4 blocks. 2 steals, 4 blocks for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Played a hell of a defensive game. Had a block on Pascal. Like, Shea was very good defensively today. In the last game, I noticed that they attacked Nesmith on the offensive end. OKC did. They attacked Nesmith because he was more out of control. He was more prone into foul trouble. Again, they did that today. I feel like Nesmith was again in foul trouble. Saw a lot of Ben Mathurin. I think it was every once in a while there's too much Ben Mathurin. Today was too much Benedict Mathurin. As much I really like the guy when he's not on. You know what I mean? And the only reason he was playing is because Nesmith was once again in foul trouble. But today they started going at Halliburton once again like they've been doing the entire rest of the series. It worked out again, OKC just works the mismatches, and their guys were dancing tonight. OKC, Shea was hitting the mid-range shots. JDub was getting to the rim. Chet didn't have a great game offensively, but I believe he did have a few great defensive plays as well, even though, again, Aaron Nesmith sat on his shoulders for a putback dunk. It was insane. If you haven't seen the highlight yet, check that one out. It's pretty cool. Aaron Nesmith lost the game, but he got his highlight off. In my book, that's a win because I play for the name on the back of the shirt, not the front. It just felt like tonight wasn't OKC's night. They started really climbing back into the game. I mean, they get it to about 6 points, and here comes Lou Dort with a big three. Okay, you know what I mean? Some nights, the OKC role players just have it going, and when they have it going, unfortunately, you can't really stop it because you're not going to stop bringing doubles and bringing help on JDub and Shea when they have a collective 70 points between them. Yeah, they finished with 71 points between Shea and JDub, and then also Shea had 10 assists. He had 10 times more than he had in the last game. Actually, 1,000,000 times more because I believe he finished with this many. Since 2000, over the last 25 years, this is per Underdog. I'm stealing their stats. Yes, I am. I've spent enough money on there. I believe I can use a statistic from them. Of the last 25 years, there have been, I believe that is 9 teams to go to tie a series at 2-2, then win Game 5. And the winner of Game 5 in those situations has won 7 of the 9. The only 2 that lost were the Spurs in 2013. I believe that was the year they lost to the Clippers, maybe. And then 2010 Celtics. Of course, it always leads back to the Celtics. The end picture of the game that I'm kind of getting out of this is Indiana played in traffic, and by that I mean hands in the lane. I don't literally mean they played in traffic. Because they were playing with a lot of hands surrounding them the entirety of the game, they turned the ball over 20 times, which, again, this is a relatively turnover-free Pacers team. However, this is a turnover-forcing OKC defense, so you're not going to get out of an OKC series without turning the ball over a ton. However, 22 is just too many. And then also the last thing is OKC, their role players specifically, made their threes. Kaysen gave them 3 or 4. Aaron Wiggins gave them 3 or 4. Dort gave them a big one. Guys just hit timely shots for them. Whether it was JDub, whether it was Shea, whether it was Lou Dort, it just wasn't Chet Holmgren, but I still got to give him props because he did play a really good defensive game. He had multiple blocks tonight. So looking forward to Game 6 back in the field house. Should be an exciting game, to be honest. They just need Halliburton. They really need Halliburton. If he doesn't show up in Game 6, the lights are going to be off. You're going to be seeing Johnny Furphy in a closeout game. They need him. TJ McConnell did a great job at trying his best to kind of will them back into the game. But if the star player, if the best player on the team isn't there, it's proven again and again and again this series and this season for the Indiana Pacers. When Tyrese Halliburton's offense and his scoring, specifically scoring, isn't there, they are more beatable. Statistically, again, the numbers when Halliburton scores 25 or more, they win, 25 of 27 games or something like that. They've been way better when Halliburton has his scoring going. That's just how it's been all season for Indiana. You better hope he shows up in Game 6, because if you get 2 points and 0 field goal makes again, did he finish with 0? He did. If you get 0 field goal makes again, close the lights off and just send everybody home. Shut the damn lights off. OKC, go back to Oklahoma and hang that banner. It's Tyrese Halliburton show up or the Pacers lose. Siakam did a great job. McConnell did a great job. And for OKC, once again, you were able to slow down the Indiana offense with the switching. They did switch a good amount today, too. And it's shown productiveness. And on top of that, they're doing a really good job of collapsing, getting turnovers, just forcing turnovers, hands everywhere. Alex Caruso didn't make a 3 today. I think he made 1 shot all night. And yet still he was very impactful and one of the best players on the court because he got every 50-50 ball. He dove on the ground and had a nice snag on a loose ball. Yeah, it was a fumble, basically. Alex Caruso didn't make many shots, but he still played great today. Shea and JDub, of course, were 71 points. That can't be understated. Let's pray Indiana wins Game 6, me personally, because I want Game 7. I want content. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. Simple enough. I'm going to go catch the game. I'll see you guys in the next one.